Civil War. I am so aghast at this storyline. Civil War, Oregon State. Rivalry is always played at the end of November, at the end of the season.
Oh, that's right.
In the rain, in the mud, and the cold of the Pacific Northwest, and it means so much. Rivalry's been played since 1894. This was the last game in the rivalry.
Oh.
Why? Because Oregon State is in the Pac-12. Oregon's gone to the Big Ten. Scheduling, it's the last time they're going to play. In Oregon, Dan Lanning is a great coach, great offensive mind. He's just going to run the damn score up on everybody he plays.
Yeah.
Because he wants to recruit everybody on the West Coast. And he just did not take his foot off the gas pedal. 585 yards in offense. Oregon destroys Oregon State. I felt really bad for the people in Corvallis. Apple Cup, same as the Civil War. This should be at the last end of the season game in November. Washington sledgehammers Washington State. 59-24. Really good quarterback on the West Coast. Nobody pays any attention to. Was a freshman starter last year. Put up really nice numbers second half of the campaign, doing the exact same thing. Demon Williams, 294 through the air, 4 touchdowns. Washington State's got quarterback problems, but Huskies really playing well. Utah. We talked about this Friday, that this is going to be an important game. Wow. Texas Tech punched Utah in the mouth in the Big 12. Texas Tech, 4 takeaways. Texas Tech, 484 yards against the Utes, and the Red Raiders blow out Utah. Oklahoma, Auburn. Johnny Mateer, Heisman Trophy hot candidate. He throws for 271. Big controversy.
I saw this play.
This is called the lonesome end debate. Here they are in the fourth quarter at the end of the game. Oklahoma, fast offense, moving down the field. Wide receiver for Oklahoma comes off the field. You think they're making a change. Well, he doesn't come off the field. He runs off the field, positions himself at the boundary marker, stands there. Mateer gets him in the line of scrimmage, snaps the ball. Receiver is out there on the edge, runs a streak pattern, wide open because nobody defended him. They thought he was leaving the game. It's an illegal play.
Yeah.
Southeastern Conference officials heavily criticized for that situation. It was an illegal play. I called it the lonesome end wide receiver story. It probably won't happen again, but it was the difference maker. Hugh Freeze, the Auburn coach, had a meltdown because it was not called. Florida State money game, they're playing really well. I hope Kent State got a lot of money because it was terrible what they allowed their kids to have to go through. Got beat 66-10. Florida State, 775 yards in offense against Kent State of the Mid-American. And a big game in the Big Ten. They were both 3-0, and now one of them's got a black eye and a bloody nose. Indiana destroyed Illinois, 63-10. They left their starters in. You know, Kurt Signetti did a really great job at IU last year at Indiana, but he did this last year. And I don't know that this is real sportsmanship at Indiana. He left his starters until about 4 minutes to go in the game. Just ran up the score on Illinois in a conference. That to me is that's kind of ticky-tack. So anyhow, Civil War Apple Cup should be the last weekend in November historically, and now they're going away because all these teams have gone to different conferences. John, the floor belongs to you.
Yeah, rivalry weekend is, that ship has sailed, unfortunately, unless, there's another reconfiguration. But it was just the Oklahoma and Indiana wins were just both big wins for those programs. I mean, I think Indiana, when they were facing Illinois, I think might have been a number 9 at the time. And now Indiana has moved up to 11. And one of my good friends is an IU alum, and he just gets excited because no one ever thinks about Indiana for football,
right?
And here they are, against Illinois, and they had a great game. And I was kind of watching the game and following it online, and they had a comfortable lead, through the first half. But then all of a sudden, I saw the final score. He was at 60 something to like 10, or it was like horribly like lopsided. I was like, wow, that was a beatdown. And then that Oklahoma play. It was you got Auburn in the house. I mean, that's a premier SEC program. So this is a big moment here for the Sooners to try to have some SEC cred, and then it's kind of like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I mean, it's like a Pop Warner play, you know, like one of those things where the quarterback fakes like they're going to talk to the coach and all of a sudden they start to run. So I don't know if it's an illegal play, which it sounds like it is, it should have been policed, but that was the difference in the game.
Exactly. Johnny Mateer is playing really, really well. And it was a hell of a football game, but the SEC is just beyond themselves saying, how could these officials miss this
Some home cooking.
lonesome end game? Okay, that's all things college football. Feel free, jump on board. We got anybody from the Pacific Northwest? You tell me how important the Civil War is. Tell me how important the Apple Cup game is to those schools up in the Northwest.